just want to make a comment for Jenna. Where's Jenna? It's just Jenna. She's got her back to me. She gave the best piece of advice. I have a lot of kids, a lot of girls in my family. Those of you know me, I have 6 kids, which my wife and me. 4 of them are girls. 4 of them are in college right now. But my most proud achievement in my career has been that I have 4 chief marketing officer women, female women, who work directly for me, working for Fortune 500 companies, and soon to be a 5th next week. I gave a reference last week for it. So I do think men can play a huge role in that by supporting just as much as women. So just kind of think about that to the men in this room. So anyway, moving on. Yes, we've been up to a lot of edible, and I'm really excited to share with you guys. Today's going to be show and tell, so I'm going to ask that they cut the lights on the screen because it's a little hard to see. But I've been with Edible now since February of this year. Previously, I was for 5+ years at Orange Street Fitness as their chief brand officer. And this has been probably my most exciting and enjoyable job. Not just saying that because our president is in the room. Soumya Fareed Silver is in the back. And our chief innovation officer, Angela Johnson, she came from Crystal and a great career beyond that. Also have Ashton from she leads our content, Ashton Pike, and Barbara Sanan, who's our brand manager, who just joined us from Los Angeles, from Disney. So a great team in here, and thanks for hosting. Carter's, I really appreciate it. I spent a lot of money on your clothing in younger years of my life. But anyway, let's just get on with it, shall we? I'm going to sit down if you guys don't mind. I've been on my feet a lot today. So I always like to start, the show and tell about like the business issue with Edible. This is a brand that is 25 years young, nearly 25. Next year will be a 25th anniversary, and I couldn't be more excited about this because I really feel like we're on the edge of something incredible. And when I came to the company and I talked with the founder, Tariq Fareed, and I talked with Soumya, I just couldn't help it be so electrified by their vision of where they wanted to take the brand. And the only thing I asked is that you would give me a little bit of, oh, thank you. They would give me a little bit of trust in being able to do my job. And I have to tell you, 7 months in, they've done nothing but give me a lot of trust. And it's been a little bit of a, when you work for a company that's a founder, I've worked for Coca-Cola. It's very different than working for a founder-led company. And I actually prefer the founder-led company. And I think it's taking a lot of bravery on their part to kind of walk this journey. So if you kind of click on the slide here, well, I'm in charge of that, right? I'm the boss. Well, look at that. Let's start with the issue. This is, coming up in 25 years. Edible's very well known. Look, people know edible arrangements, I should say. But our unaided awareness has dropped. It's 31%. And we know that, gifting and like what people know us for are really cool, but maybe quirky arrangement, but they don't know us for all the other innovations we brought to the table. Angela and her team have brought some incredible new products and innovations that have been around, the past few years, but no one really knows about that. And I would also say we were like the Peloton of our category, is that we flew really high during the pandemic, for obvious reasons. But coming out of the pandemic, we really had to rethink where we're going to take the brand as we move into our next chapter. So really our goal was really to raise not only our awareness, but really unaided awareness, and particularly about what, which I'm going to talk to you guys about. Another issue is we have a churn issue, 74% churn. So it's not that people don't like Edible, it's they just don't know what to use this for beyond a big arrangement. Hey, I love Edible. I don't have a need to send a huge arrangement today. So we really need to think about how do we reframe what people perceive Edible to be about. And that purchase frequency shows up as, very low. How do we drive more frequency? Well, we got to let them know that we're more than just what they think we're about. So that's really the goal. If you don't know it, so yes, we do the arrangements. We have these amazing new tablescapes, which are very different than you've ever seen from arrangement. Our bake shop products, working for a fitness company, I had to actually work out before a board meeting. I'm really thrilled to have, everywhere I go, amazing brownies and cupcakes and chocolate dipped strawberries. Our dessert boards, I actually brought one. So afterwards, I know you're not supposed to eat dessert before dinner, but you can partake of our amazing dessert board. And our flowers. I think our flowers are second to none. And I'm a hero at home because I come home with these beautiful flowers occasionally, and my wife loves them. So we're a lot more than arrangements, but with the arrangements we do have are really awesome, and they're different than you are aware of. So with that in mind, there's kind of 2 components to how we reframe. I don't like to call it a rebranding per se. We call it the next generation brand because it really is inside out. It's about the employees at Edible. It's our franchisees. It's about our products. Everything systemically is really changing, and not changing just to change. It's changing to really be what our vision was all about, which is to really celebrate those moments that matter. So the first component of this talk is really about the design aspect and the look and feel of the brand. The second component is about the communication and the other aspects, how people understand the brand as well. So kind of looking at next gen edible for next generation environment, we've been talking about it all day, right? Everything's digital now. We've got AI, all these other considerations happening. But we had to look at the brand with a really careful eye about where we are today and how do we need to update and modernize the brand. And again, to really appeal to that next generation consumer. We've all seen this lately. A lot of brands are really changing their look and feel, but really there's a very practical reason behind that. Because of the digital world we live in, we're looking at small screens. It's not the same as it was when I started my career nearly 30 years ago in New York City, where I just did a bunch of big splashy TV ads. It's really this idea now about simplification. It's a very cluttered environment. It's hard to see things on small screens. So you're seeing a lot of brands moving to 2D logos and much simpler design systems to really communicate better. Because look, we're in the communication business. We can't communicate visually. How do we expect our consumers to understand or even be attracted to our brand? And then there's just, beyond that functional aspect of it, as I mentioned before, we need to really get our visual identity in step with our more modern contemporary product offering. So, part of our look and feel really needed to speak to the types of products we're offering and the occasion. So really, again, trying to be the more contemporary gifting destination that people have known and loved. Where's the battery charger of this thing? So this is where we are before. And funny story, Tariq, our founder, our CEO, he, when we, so and I went on this journey together to really kind of look at how we're going to tackle this from a visual identity system. I knew the logo was one area that we're going to have to really migrate. But that basket was something that, I knew there's a lot of emotional attachment to. And Sonia and I had a really cool conversation. She said, the basket, that represents gifting. It's a symbol of gifting. So our goal was really how do we take that basket, modernize it, but also maintain the heritage, pay homage to the equity having that icon. And then the word edible, how do we, the typography, how do we contemporize that, make it feel a little less like a toy company and more like a modern gifting brand. So this is kind of the two principles we brought into the thought process. And by the way, all the work I'm showing you is all of my team. Everybody, most of this work was done in-house, which I think that's a whole nother conference I'd love to hold, which is stop relying always on your agency. I work for agencies, I've loved them for 16 years, but there's a tremendous power in building in-house capability. And don't contract your brands off to agencies so much. I think you can actually hire great people and do it from within. Doesn't mean we don't need outside experts. I think agencies are wonderful, but all this work I'm sharing with you is really designed and driven by our team. Here's the new logo, which will be debuting on Monday. You can see the more modernized and clean look there. Here's just a few applications you can see as it's in horizontal and vertical formats. The basket alone. And new stores. This is what we call our next gen store, which we're really excited about. And we have about 4 or 5 locations that are in pre-construction right now across the country. Really, if you've ever been to Italy, if you've been to Italy, New York City, or Las Vegas, or Dallas, think of it as a miniaturized version of that. It's a real place where you can get a little mini emporium where you really can have an incredible experience, buying a gift, picking up something, grab and go, maybe having a coffee. This is designed, actually, speaking of agencies, this was an agency. This is Live It in Madrid, Spain. They are experts at this, so we really need to lean on them to help us with the design and construction of this. But you'll see this debut early next year. But you can see our design system, how we've really started to implement that even within our stores, which we have nearly 1,000. This is just our primary logo type. Without the basket, we're really using that in digital applications. Again, when you think of favicons, if we know what a favicon is, that tiny little icon, you couldn't read the old basket. So it's really about how do we create more clearer visual communication. Here's our secondary logo type, and you're going to be seeing this showing up in special applications like our vans, which you can see here. We're moving to a hybrid van solution. I think this is a Kia. Really excited about this. Again, I wanted to create this icon you can see traveling about our communities. Most people don't really recognize it. We have stores. We do have stores, and they're changing. But also, we deliver to 80% of the population within an hour, which is really cool. So this is coming out starting next year as well. Packaging. So we're a gifting company. We need to look great. So a real big component of our design is to increase the appeal of our packaging, the contents of what we put in it. So you can see this design in our packaging. Cooler bags, we're now going to be serving them in these temperature-controlled cooler bags. So when it shows up to the recipient, it's kept cool. It looks great. It's something you might want to keep. It's another bag. This is some of the advertising you might see coming out from this design system. And again, these are just some concepts, some wild postings. We always do this in a design package. But wanted to get on and share with you kind of where we are, the new brand campaign, which starts on Monday. So when Carrie and I communicated, we talked about, I said, oh, it's funny, we're launching a new campaign on Monday. It might be a good time to chat with you guys. So the idea here was, again, we're trying to get people to think of us beyond the arrangement. The occasional occasion, I say, like birthdays, anniversaries, but really those moments. And those moments could be, I messed up, I'm sorry. Or it could be, you know what, I just got a promotion, let's celebrate tonight. Or you know what, it could be your son got straight A's and you got his report card, let's celebrate. So there's so many moments that we haven't been given credit for that I really want to address in this campaign to really to raise more awareness of that. I can say this to a marketing crowd. This is like a full funnel approach. I think a modern marketer, we got to think about every aspect of the funnel, not just the brand advertising. We talk a lot about trends in marketing and what's the latest trends. Well, I like to kind of fuse the old school with the new school. There's a lot of, I'm a frustrated anthropologist. I love studying human behavior. And I laugh about marketing trends all the time because you know what? Humans have been going on the same needs for millennia. So I like to really bridge, grab them by the heart, but also be practical. That's where the performance marketing side comes in. So I talked about performance marketing, I feel like, for 5 years, and we watched everything drive off a cliff in the industry because people lost the hearts and soul of the brand. So this is really about balancing that, bringing the heart and soul, letting people know about the moments that they can celebrate without a bowl. As I mentioned, our brand purpose is celebrate those moments that matter. And the campaign idea is really this idea of there's an edible for that. Yes, if you're old enough to remember the Apple campaign, there's a little bit of a riff on that, but it really is kind of taking a little bit of cheeky look at that idea. So let me share with you a few spots that we're going to be launching on Monday.
I'll show you a real alien popped out of a pod. He's a clone of my friend Carl. There's two Carls, Pod Carl and not Pod Carl. It's not a conspiracy or a theory. It's a proven fact. I don't care. I want the truth to come out. You hear me?
Held your tongue at family dinner? There's an edible for that. Fruit was just the beginning. Get all kinds of deliciousness delivered in an hour or less at edible.com. See a website for details and
I
restrictions.
saw him in the sky.
A little different. What's your demographic for that? Just curious. I know. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Hang on. I'll send that in program. Becca?
Oh, hi.
Hi. I'm Brian.
Brian.
Coffee?
Feel like you've been catfished? There's an edible for that. Fruit was just the beginning. Get all kinds of deliciousness delivered in an hour or less at edible.com. See website for details and restrictions.
So we're going after, historically, like a lot of brands, our primary core target.
Our primary core target was aging. So at the same time, you don't want to alienate that, but you also want to bring in the next generation. So typically in their 40s, but we do see huge opportunity in young gifters, people who are 20 to 25. So I think the idea is you'll to find something relatable to everybody in these little moments. So you'll see this. I'm probably going to show you guys 5% of the content we've created, but this will give you a feel for that.
Need an intermission? There's an edible for that. Get all kinds of deliciousness delivered right when you need it at edible.com.
And this last one is probably our pushes the envelope a little bit further.
Our family history results are in. My great-great-grandfather came through Ellis Island.
Mine too. Timothy Overson.
Found out you're related to your spouse? There's an edible for that. Fruit was just the beginning. Get all kinds of deliciousness delivered in an hour or less at edible.com. See website for details and restrictions.
Yeah, that is awkward. And then, of course, we have, really going to be honing in on our delivery capabilities. A lot of that we're fulfilling, yes, through our own transportation, but also through third party. Oh, here we go. Just some examples, remember your anniversary on your anniversary, which I've done and guilty of. There's an edible for that. So really, as we get more mid-funnel, getting more practical about what that might mean for you. Yep, there's an edible for those parties. And then this is interesting. I think Carrie mentioned this might not play, but we're doing a lot of content, especially for Gen Z and younger. They like just real, organic, raw content. And we just riff some videos of some real. There's an edit for that moment and tied it to it.
Okay, cool.
Like that. Okay. Anyway, that's on Monday. And that's it. So I think kind of the lesson that we're learning and have learned is just kind of the, when you look at a brand and you come into it, I know from my perspective, I don't want to be like a bull in a china shop. And I think that's as a marketer, I think we have to be respectful of change and kind of taking people on that journey with you. It's funny is I've got a lot of young people that work in our brand, and I do with a lot of Gen Z and younger now. And I think a lot of the conversation we had earlier as we developed this work, I'm thinking like, gosh, I've seen a lot of that before at the office. Not here's how you behave at the office, but I think now when people get excited about a vision and they get on board with a movement within a company, and when they see a clear vision, all that craziness kind of goes away. They start really getting excited about it. So my job really has been it's an inside out job. Get people inspired within to get them on board and excited about the work, not just doing the work, but getting excited about it. And I think this is just the beginning of a lot of the work. A lot of our social campaign will be really centered around kind of sending out product to people that have unfortunate situations or weird or awkward situations and give them, there's an level for that. And we'll send a product. So they're really getting excited about this. There's a ton more coming. But if you guys have any questions, I know you guys have dinner coming up. Sadly, you have to go to the airport, but if you want to ask me any questions, you can. Kira, I know a lot of you, by the way. I feel like you've worked for me, or I don't know. Laura, I didn't know I went to Subway with you in Connecticut years ago. Go ahead, Kira.
I love what you showed me, and they all are, but especially the related spouses one. So edgy and such a departure from this brand. It kind of has this I think it was like a granny brand.
It's okay to say that. So it's okay with that. I mean, we literally will text each other like, "Oh my God, look what this person said." They called us chukey. That was the word of the earlier.
My friend actually sent me one about a year ago for a favor that I did her, and I was like, "This is my most grandma." I'm just wondering what happened kind of behind the scenes internally to get buy-in for that, but such a far departure that's almost a little bit controversial.
I think there's two parts to that question. I have answers for. There's the HQ side of that, and then there's the franchise side of that. So on the HQ side of that, it's remarkably easier working with a non-layered, massively over-engineered corporate entity like I've done many times before in my career. I think really getting people to buy into and takes a risk. I said it from day one, and Tarek and Somia have agreed, and I have been good on that promise. If I'm not making you feel uncomfortable and you're not feeling you're feeling uncomfortable, that's a good thing. If you're not feeling anything, that means consumers will feel zero. Like I'm not here to do, give you a bunch of TV spots that check the box. Okay, da, 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 da. So I feel like part of that, taking no chance is taking a huge chance in my book. Second part of that is the franchisees. This is my third franchise brand I've worked on, which makes me a masochist. But I love it at the same time because I love trying to make brands not feel like a franchise, but feel like just a brand. And so I think the franchisees, we're in the process of really getting that next generation franchisee into our stores and delivering on our behalf that really buy into this vision. So it is a brand in transition, but I think for them, it's just the proof is in the pudding. So it's really more about, well, we'll see what this takes us. In fact, we presented to the network early this afternoon, so it's really interesting. So we'll see. Yeah.
For that hour delivery, are you guys using a third party or is that stored brand?
Both. So we'll use like DoorDash Drive, Uber Direct, and then our own vans that I just showed you. So it'd be a combination of those. Yes. Back there.
Ken, some really great work. Building on Kara's point about what the brand used to be versus where the brand may be going. Congrats to you and the extended team. But it did raise another point to me, which is, as you look to find your new path forward, how do you navigate the fact that the name edible may relate to a different product entirely?
You mean weed? Say it. Say it. Say my name. Of course we know that.
I'm raising the question just because
Yeah.
I think it's unique to other brands that we may represent in the room today.
Yeah, look, we have a generic name, right? Like booking.com. We talked a lot about, edible.com, edible. We talked about this. And to me, and I think we collectively agreed as an executive team, hey, look, let's lean in on that. People kind of laugh about it anyway. Look, it got through network clearance, so I can just tell you that. But I think if people have a little like, wait, whoa, that's okay. But really the idea is to get it to stick in their mind. And, if people aren't talking about our brand, then that's when I'm looking for a new job. So.
I can see the SNL spot.
Years ago, I produced about a bazillion UPS ads called the whiteboard ad, and then SNL did a skit about it, and I said, that's my greatest achievement, making fun of me. Any other question? Oh, yes, sorry.
I think that the work you guys have done to change the brand and the logo looks amazing. But it tells us also what the main thing that you guys are positioning in your commercials is how quickly you guys are the speed to market. So can you talk a little bit more as to the importance of that, especially since we know that right now you can get anything as quickly as you want it, as soon as you want it, and that's a major part in all of your commercials.
I'm going to bring you on our franchise call.
Excellent.
I think
you're a digital marketer.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're all, and many brands are like this. Look, you make more money by more transactions.
For sure.
So, I think we're trying to, Somia's strategy is really to move us from AOV to lifetime value and more transactions. So, which I fully and wholly support. I think the only way and path to that is to lean into what the customer wants. People need things fast. They expect it fast. They don't want to pay a ton for the delivery. So I think the franchisees, some of those, some of those old school ones are like, we're going to have to work more and do this faster. I hate this guy. But the truth is, that's the path to profitability and making more money. But at the same time, it's also engendering love to the consumer because they can count on us. When those moments and occasions come, they can count on Edible. And trust me, we're looking at every aspect of quality and reliability. All those things matter. We just can't make these promises and fall flat. But I think you're right. You're seeing a huge change. Look, Amazon changed that. We all have been there. We order something and 2 hours later, it's on my front step. So it's kind of set a new expectation, whether we like it or not. But that is the reality, and I think we need to lean in on that. Yeah.
So you mentioned one of the goals is to increase the number to your own customers to make sure you're sure. So I guess I'm curious, what's the loyalty component as you reimagine your brand?
We have, yeah. So we do have a loyalty program. People just didn't know about it that much. So on your birthday, you get a treat. There's other little nice perks that come along with that. But we are launching a more formalized loyalty program starting in 2024. Which is really centered around, obviously, more transactions, more love, but also being a useful brand. Loyalty to me is not just giving free stuff. It's also being a useful brand. Reminding you of all your friends' birthdays, reminding you of this or that. So really, I think some of the things we're imagining right now are really going to be sitting around being a brand of help. Look, I've got a lot going on in my life, and I could use a brand that could help me do these kind of things, automate things. So think about subscriptions and all that. These are things we're starting to think about as we're looking at loyalty. Like, how can we help people not miss that special moment? Because when you miss that special moment for somebody, they don't remember you for that. They just remember you forgot. So that's kind of where we're headed with that. Anything else? Yeah.
First of all, I love Great Brandon. I mean, if reminding the bit of them when Dunkin' took away the donuts.
Yes. Yeah.
For the same reasons, which is drive more transaction, and today I believe they sell more beverages than donuts.
Yeah, true.
So I just wanted to understand, as more of this with branding, are you also pivoting into more higher frequent menu items or hero hiding?
Yes. Andrew's back there, Jones, and they're like, let me show you. Yes, absolutely. Look, 60% of our business right now, a big chunk of it is still the arrangement, to be sure. So that's not going away. But we have this huge opportunity with our dessert boards, which when I first started, I was blown away. I'm like, these, and by the way, like I said, they're in the back. our flowers, are the highest quality. In fact, Somi and the team and Angela just got back from Bogota last week with the most premier flower providers in the world down in Colombia. So I think for us, it's just letting the world know we have that and they're highest quality and they can get there fast. So I think that I won't be surprised in a few years if it's 50-50, if it's 40-60, So yes, definitely. Yeah.
You mentioned updating the digital logo and all the reasons you would do that. There's a lot of physical assets as well, right? You mentioned 1,000 stores and delivery vans. So how does that conversation go with the CFO when you have an idea to say, we're going to change this logo? Tell us a little bit about that.
The CFO?
Well, when you're explaining the financials, because
well, he's new, so he doesn't know yet. No, I'm kidding. We talked about this extensively, and I think at the end of the day, one of our business issues, and I love talking about this in a closed session with marketers because you guys I wouldn't go talk about this publicly, but one of our issues is perceptions of being overpriced. And when you go out and you go and put together that board and you package it and you deliver it, you tell me that you pay yourself to do all that, and I know I don't want to do that. So I think from us, it's really about the overall experience. You're not buying from edible a chocolate dipped strawberry or flower. You're buying an experience. You're buying an emotional connection. So part of that, huge part of that, and we looked at a lot of research, was top box drivers of purchase were the look and feel and the quality and the freshness of the brand and the product. So we looked with a very just honest eye. We're like, hey, we can do better with packaging. We can do better with a lot of these areas and components. And the other part was we wanted to tie together that it felt like it was coming from edible. We all know like the Tiffany box, although they went a little crazy and rogue and have yellow right now in Los Angeles, but we'll ignore that. But it is to really create that experience that actually drives more loyalty and preference. So we can see brands that don't invest and they go Six Flags. They didn't invest to do rides for years and they've been watching their attendance drop like a rock. So for us as an investment, I think the company understands that. And hopefully the franchisees will as well. Who's ready for dinner? It looks like you are. Okay, well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.